Welcome back to Two Judgy Girls. This is Mary from the Bay.
And it's Courtney from LA, and this is a very special podcast, okay? If you still care about Summer House and you want to know the breakdown of the whiteboard video with Wes, we're going to be doing it all. And Mary, I have something for you. We're going to whiteboard the whiteboard. Okay? I've got some questions. You've got some questions. We need to ask those questions on our own special mini whiteboard.
I love this for us. You were inspired.
I just felt like when they brought out the whiteboard, I was like, oh, you think that that's it? No, no. We're coming back and we're coming with a vengeance and we have some questions.
I am a visual learner, so this is perfect for me.
So as we go on, I'll just start circling things. Okay, so I think our first question that we want to talk about when it comes to this video intentions. Why? Why?
Well, okay. To me, overall, this was better than the reunion. And we had two things helping us because one, West wasn't on drugs.
At least the cocktail of what he had at the reunion.
Exactly. It wasn't the same cocktail. But I felt like he was more comfortable and he had nothing to lose. But he also wants the last word. And that's why he did this. And then it asks the question, was he paid to do this? Is there any compensation with this? What do you think?
Great question, Mary. Let's ask that. I wonder too. You bring up a good point. He did this in the comfort of his friends. These are his good friends. They were with him at the Yankees game. They were at summer house parties. He's in the comfort of where they can roast him a little bit, but they're still ultimately on his side. He's able to tell his side of the story without a lot of vitriol from his quote unquote enemies, which would be the rest of the cast right now.
Right. It is a safe atmosphere. He's on a couch. He's relaxed. He's wearing a hat.
He's got a cable knit sweater in June. But I do wonder, was he paid for this video? Because they monetize off of this, but it's under the Soho Brody account. So is Lucas, who is Soho Brody, is he making the money or are they splitting it? They're all also collaborators on this. Wes is a collaborator on this. Is there money in the banana stand?
Yeah, I don't know because it's not like it was sponsored by something.
Or was it and we just didn't pick it up because it was in the background? I did try to start to look, but then I was losing focus on the actual video.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah.
appear to be anything like a, no, there's no way it was a paid collaboration. However, I don't know. Did Soho Brody say, like, hey, I'll cut you a check if you do this? Maybe.
Right. That's what I'm wondering too. Okay. Do you think, even though he was able to tell his side of the story, that he came out looking well? Looking
Absolutely
good?
not. I thought there was many lies.
The lies, the lies, the lies.
I also think he was trying to send a message to Bravo, like, look what you're missing. And I think in turn, he probably pissed off Bravo more because, you guys, what are you circling?
On pause?
I think he probably pissed off Bravo more because they wanted this version of him at the reunion. And I also wonder, he does admit to the beta blockers, Xanax, a cocktail, if you will. And I know that was going to be a big question that Andy was going to ask Amanda at the In the City reunion. So I wonder if they're mad that he's kind of already answering that question for the viewers, kind of stealing the thunder. Courtney has circled Xanax.
Well, I noticed that he didn't mention Amanda's answer, though. He said she meditated before. So
Yes.
he was trying to say, and they kind of cut him off because Lucas had tried to ask him what he was on with the beta blockers. He didn't say anything. Then they circled back to it, and he had said Xanax, and he was about to say a mix of. But he did not get to finish that sentence, or it was cut. So that's a question. Another one I have, Xanax and what? A mix of what?
Uh, yeah.
I'm sorry because I'm going to be popping in with that whiteboard for you, but we have questions. I sent you a list of like 25 questions before. You took copious amount of notes. This was a 28-minute video. We both watched it twice.
Right.
So we spent an hour each. That's 2 hours.
I think question number one, and they asked this, does the tape exist? And it appears that this tape is them canoodling in West's apartment. And he was like, I just think that's so crazy. We all live in New York. I'm on a second floor. Like, we can all see in each other's apartments. And that's very violating, which I agree. I completely agree. I'm glad that the video hasn't surfaced online or anything like that, because that's just like inappropriate. But his timeline still doesn't make sense. So he eventually admits to, we had sleepovers, basically admitting to everything but the D and the V was a direct quote. And I'm sorry, I do not believe that, because you're telling me the Wes Wilson, they literally call him out and are like, yeah, you had like 3 or 4 girlfriends in like one night blackout stands.
Fake girlfriends, too. Fake girlfriends, one real one. He could be Stephen DeMarco.
Right. But you're telling me they never slept together. They did everything but. I just cannot believe that.
And they were having sleepovers.
I'm sorry. I'm an adult. We're all adults here. We know what happens at slumber parties, okay?
Maybe it was D and B, the letter B for butt. He does say he's freaky at one point, okay?
I would be really curious if she slept with that hockey player. Is Wes the like only person she slept with since Kyle?
Who is the Boston hockey player?
No idea.
They got smoothies? I'm sorry, is this Scott Hunter from Heated Rivalry, the smoothie king? Is Kip okay?
I thought that was a joke, the smoothie part.
Oh, I think they got smoothies. I thought that was the date that they got smoothies. Ilya Rozanov is not the joke for the smoothies, so he's even getting his Heated Rivalry characters incorrect. It's not like he's watching the episode, because if we want to talk about that with the random girl makeout episode, he says, oh, we knew when that episode was coming back there was going to be blowback. I thought we weren't watching the episodes, West. Which one is it?
I don't think they watched the episodes, because there was multiple things they caught him on, like at the reunion, asking about the dick pic. Was that the first time you knew about that? But you asked if it was flaccid, and he was like, well, you know, I send pictures of my abs and I don't, what did he say?
He doesn't crank it.
You guys,
Yes.
we might have to put this on video, the entire thing. This is a very video pod.
We should do the movement one more time.
I'm going like this. What did he say?
He's
Crank it,
literally,
baby.
she's cranking it, baby. But I think it's because he had seen the photos, Mary. He knew what the pics was. He's trying to downplay it. Come on. That man said he was hacked on Instagram. He was hacked on Facebook. And maybe he was. He could have been. But I also am surprised that you didn't see something that was like, hey, I'm hacked.
Right. So we've already caught him in 2 lies. One is the dick pic. 2, I'm choosing the lie of the timeline once again, because he goes back to this February date. And that's the first kiss that they say is actually at a bar in public.
How do they not know when their first kiss was? I'm sorry. I don't care how old you are. I feel like when you first start dating someone, maybe you might forget long after it, but it's been now, we're in June, and if it's at the end of February, we're 3 months into this. You're telling me you guys don't remember the first time that you kissed? He also doesn't remember kissing Sierra, which we thought.
Yeah, the ear stuff comment.
He also doesn't remember hanging out with Chicken Fry or telling her I was probably drunk and said Amanda was hot. He seems to not remember things a lot.
Back to Brianna Chicken Fry. When they're like, you hang out with her, he's like, no, 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 no. We have pictures of you together. Yes, you have. We've already accounted for 4 lies. Dick pic, timeline, Sierra kiss, and Chicken Fry. The lies, the lies, the lies.
We're going to have to keep circling that, Candy Burris. Okay, then they talk about the joint statement. Now, the joint statement to West is the worst thing he's ever done. Worst thing he's ever done. Nothing to do with what's the situation at hand, which brings us back to the why. But he wants us to know worst thing he's ever done. But then also tells us he didn't write it. She didn't write it. They have people. They put their notes into a Google Doc. I'm like, you guys had a full Google Doc for that 3 sentence joint statement?
Why won't they actually say how the statement transpired? Just say, okay, me and Amanda got together. We something in Google Docs, then we put it through ChatGPT, and that's what it came out with, and we went with it. And we didn't run it through any PR team.
I think there's Bravo PR involved in this.
Okay.
I don't know that Bravo PR is the one that like okayed the statement or whatever, but I think that they were involved. There were other people involved that he's not going to name.
Maybe it was his producer that he sent flowers to.
You know, you don't send people flowers on Valentine's Day that you're not in love with. Maybe that's just a barrier I have so that I can get myself in trouble. It's like, sir, you are toxic.
Okay,
Toxic.
we have also been asking what's going on with the parents. And that brings us to he met Frank Petula.
He met Frank?
I love how Lucas caught that. Lucas was like, "So how's Frank?" And he's like, "Wait, how do you know about that?" And then he kind of has to answer, "He's great. I would love to know when this meetup was." I assume everything is also within apartments.
Oh, I think they went to Jersey because I think that's the backyard he'd like to be in 2 years. Her backyard. Her. Let's
Where
circle her where he wouldn't be living. She would be living by herself in 2 years, which would be at least like 2.5 years they'd be together. But there's no level of commitment there because it's her backyard.
Okay, that's actually interesting, the backyard thing, because it's like Kyle and Amanda got married in that backyard.
Mary, that hurt me.
I know. Yeah,
The deceit.
I know. Also, the other parent thing was about his mom's theory. That the mom's theory is that the dad had an anger issue with him growing up. So Wes always played it cool, didn't want to ruffle any feathers, just acted accordingly to not get his dad mad.
But he's since worked on that guy, so everything's okay now.
Yeah.
The things
Yeah.
that he was trying to blame in order to take some heat off of him, I'm like, he blamed Sierra, he blamed Jesse, he blamed Kyle, he blamed all of us, he blamed Bravo, he blamed his dad, he blamed me. Like, the list went on of all the amount of people he wanted to blame. And it's like, what did you think? Was there a game plan here? Did Lucas send him the whiteboard before?
I did think Lucas really hit all the points. I'm like, a female was definitely behind this because they really covered a lot in 28 minutes. And his direct quote about his dad was, "My dad had anger issues growing up, and I tried to make him happy. So my internal compass is not to react and to be calm." And then that kind of talks about the reunion. He's like, "My game plan for the reunion was to go in and not react," which is exactly what he did because he was on a heavy cocktail.
Of exactly what we need more.
I also thought it was interesting when he talked about Andy and he's like, "I've since talked to Andy and we've texted a lot." He's definitely trying to keep in the good graces of Bravo in some way. And Courtney is circling.
On pause.
I just can't imagine a world where he is coming back unless, because Lindsay in Cannes Lions this week, she said they were talking about in the city and for next season and if Amanda would be on. And then if Amanda was on, would Wes be on? So Lindsay kind of alluded to we have to see what happens in the fall and like where people are at. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They're leaving that door open. And once again, Kyle did say in that interview too, like, "I'll film with anyone." They leave that door open.
Well, because I also wonder in regards to that, if Danielle is out because she's taking time, if Yvonne and Lexi are close to and they're out, where does this cast go? You have Amanda sitting right there. Do you bring West in to be another couple? Will Katie DeLuca come to the front? Where do you go with that? And those are questions that we'll deal with in the fall. But it does lead me to believe that there is a door open, or at least Wes thinks there's a door open. This, for me, was an exit interview. I'm going to say my piece. As you mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to get the last word. And I'm going to, at this point, make it seem like maybe I'm not being paid for this video and I'm not giving the one-on-one special to somebody, but I'm just giving my side of the story so that even though Bravo's mad at me for not revealing all of this information, there's still a path because I didn't go elsewhere as opposed to just making a video where I've already been featured in the past.
I mean, what he should have had is Lucas interview him on his own pod to make money, to be honest. And he does mention too how we don't have any money coming in right now.
So he's looking. I mean, he has his podcast, so I think he's still making money there, and I'm sure he has some sort of complex deals still going on. I think it's kind of like lay low for a minute, which he should have been doing the whole time, which he talks about in this video too. He talks about for the first month, I was just like, I'm going to live my normal life, letting us know we weren't going to bother him. He was going to do what he wanted to do, and then he slowly started to crash out. And what he says too is at the end of this, he wants this to go away. You want this to go away, but you made a 30-minute video about it? You want it to go away. Huh. I think you want the drama of you and Amanda to go away. I don't think you want the image to go away because the image is very important to him, which he mentions multiple times throughout.
And that's what this is all about. Then they talk about Jen Fessler, and he still denies that. That's my friend. She's flirty. I'm like, something happened there.
Same words he used with Amanda, Mary. That's a good friend of mine. Well, okay. I thought Fessler was going to be litigious about this, and she seemingly is not. There is something more there. Where the timeline is, we can't open that back up.
Jen Fessler definitely wants that to go away. And I've noticed Jen Fessler has been posting a ton with her husband. She just went to Zion with him. I just think it's very funny that she's posting a lot with her husband. She definitely wants that to go away. Something happened there. Cartwheel.
But this brings me another timeline question up for me. They talk about that hat from 2 years ago. So she wore that in the beginning of this season. We were thinking maybe it's the same PR. I don't know. Maybe not. And Wes, what hat? Oh, I think I know what hat you're talking about, which brings us back to the lies. But that she's wearing that hat multiple times. And then it also brings up the invisible text where he's saying, I don't think those are my texts. Well, Wes, do you send invisible texts? He goes, I do.
No, the lies. We're up to 6. We got the hat now.
We've got too many to even count. Just go rewind. Something I wanted to bring up was the use of the word fucking. That seems to be his favorite word, except for the reference of the actual act of. He loves it as an adverb. It is used every other which way. But when he refers to the actual act of, it's DNV. Another question that I don't think was answered throughout here that I wanted to know, and I'm circling Reese and Ryder. What do they know? Who's getting the one-on-one with Reese and Ryder? Because those dogs know something. They are split up in their time. The one dog seemingly knew West very well when he came in because they were doing ear stuff. And I need to know what the dogs know. One-on-one, Andy, get the special.
Well, I've also heard that when you get dogs from the same litter, it isn't always good. Reese and Ryder have been doing better apart. So I'm happy for them that they are living separate lives and they seem to be thriving separate.
Did you not see the joint statement they released? They released a joint statement too when their parents separated so that the parents, are doing a full parent trap. I have class and you don't. Reese, we're like twins.
Okay, let's talk about the game of telephone because he says that Lindsay is lying during the aftermath episode. Another lie. And then he kind of walks that back.
He walks it back. He moonwalks it back and then just says, well, it's a game of telephone. Lindsay was there at PJ Clark's. Mm-hmm. Lindsay was there. So ring, who's answering?
recent writer.
Those dogs, they want to cause some shit. Okay. I also have some questions too, because obviously he makes this video to tell his side of the story. At the end, he talks about mistakes. What do you think at the end of the day? I'm circling what mistakes here. What do you think at the end of the day he thinks those mistakes are? Because I'm going to arrow it back to the first thing of why. Why? And then go into the lies.
So for me, it's the Miha situation. He's like, I wanted my cake and I wanted to eat it too. He admits the wrong of, I told Miha I was in an exclusive relationship, but it was a one-sided exclusive relationship. He doesn't feel guilt about screwing over Miha. He is upset he got caught screwing over Miha and exposed.
You
And
win.
in turn, he has to be exclusive with Amanda because of it. And I think he's kind of mad about that, to be honest.
Well, he had to ask her permission to be in this video today.
Right, which I can't imagine. Well, they're also in this weird situation where, I mean, are they boyfriend girlfriend? I know they're exclusive, but are they boyfriend girlfriend? Because you mentioned to me over text, he never says my girlfriend.
They bring up his relationship. Now, could he behind the scenes call her his girlfriend? Sure. However, this is his platform to get his side of the story on, and he has the opportunity to say, hey, that's my girlfriend, when he is told that Amanda came in as a side chick and leaving as a side chick. He says, well, no, that was a perfect opportunity to say, she's my girlfriend.
Right.
And he didn't. And so could he call her that offline? Sure, but at this point, if you're going to tell your side of the story, go full commitment. Is he worried that another girl is going to come forward that he's been talking to, and then we have to circle again the lies?
I think at this point, they aren't even saying boyfriend, girlfriend. They're saying they are exclusive, but they don't have the boyfriend, girlfriend label. And so I feel like at this point in their relationship, Wes told her as a courtesy, I'm going to go do this today, but she didn't have the power in the relationship to say, I don't want you to do that, or have any control over him for him to not do that, which I think is an interesting dynamic. And in any relationship, do whatever the hell you want to do. I don't listen to my husband.
Well, I think that's because you have the power. We love Michael here. There will be no Michael slander. We will only be slandering West, circling his name, and Amanda, circling her name. And then we still have to go to the main thing of why. Why, you guys?
They brought up a very interesting point, too. They were like, were you with Sierra for clout? And that was a common theme. Going to the Yankees game for clout. Are you on this show for clout? And it's like, well, obviously, yes. And he even said this in his own podcast. Like, the point of going on these shows is to get the brand deals and to make money off the show. So I almost felt like in this moment, he kind of did admit to dating Sierra for clout. And then he also said, and I started dating Miha, and that's why I broke things off with Sierra. I found that fascinating.
Well, because he didn't even admit to dating Sierra for clout. Isn't that the reason you dated Sierra? And he was silent. And silence speaks loud.
Yes, it does. It does. And wealth whispers.
Listen up, housewives. That's a different pod. Anyways, there was a couple of things I wanted to bring up because you mentioned the clout image. They said, why didn't you go run after your girl at the reunion? And he says, the image of the two of us not on that stage would be too loud for me, which is like, okay, so you're worried about an aftermath of a photo that shows the rest of the cast with you not there. I'm like, wouldn't that be in your favor?
Yeah.
It just felt like when he was talking about image, he is so concerned about his image. Lucas even calls him out and is like, yeah, you're sad about not being able to share your BTS stuff. He's like, did I say that? He's like, on your own podcast, you said that, West. What do we circle, Mary? The lies.
I thought it was interesting, too. They asked him if he was a sex addict.
He's just a little freak.
I think he definitely is, which makes me think again, they slept together the first night they kissed.
Why are we lying about that? Why are we lying about our timeline, sex, makeouts, and sleepovers? Why are we doing that?
I think because they were probably doing it before Kyle and Amanda's statement went out.
They asked the statement timeline too.
And he was confusing with statement one or statement two.
So,
Yeah.
again, we've got to circle the statement and the timeline. What's happening here?
The other thing I thought was interesting was that he kind of felt like that he could repair a few of these relationships. And I'm like, the only one maybe I think would be with Jesse and KJ. And I think that's about it. Kyle, that's never going to be mended. I think Carl can't even believe this happened. He's a mess. Lindsay, absolutely not. Mia, absolutely not. Sierra, absolutely not. Bailey is going to go on the other side. Like maybe Jesse, and I feel like Jesse is going to be put in this position where I think a lot of Jesse's storyline next season is going to be really sad about missing his friendship, but also not wanting to lean back in because he feels like he can't trust Wes ever because of the lies, the lies, the lies.
Let me circle that one more time for you. He threw Jesse under the bus at this too, where he was talking about Jesse and Sierra, like they were cuddling under the blankets. And it's like, just because one person does one thing doesn't mean that makes it okay. Two wrongs don't make a right. And if you're like, oh, image obsessed, I'm damned if I do, and say they can make out, I'm damned if I don't. Also, what you had to say was like, you know what? Maybe Sierra can have agency over who she makes out with. Actually, you would have looked great from that, Wes, and you would have removed yourself from that situation.
Right, right.
I think Jesse wants to just move on from it, to be honest. I think he's kind of like, I don't want to deal with this. When I was thinking about when he said that he was on pause, basically, I was thinking, oh, he's going to wait a season because the OGs are coming back. And then once they leave, is that the opening for West and potentially Amanda, if he can sit in her backyard, to return to the summer house?
I don't think so. I don't think people want to promote them and watch them. And I really think he lost the viewers' trust. I've counted 7 lies. You circled it 40 times. However, I would watch him on Special Forces. Will he
I was
win?
just going to bring it up when they closed with that. I was like, okay, it's the Tom Sandoval route. He did Special Forces. JoJo Siwa carried him. He could do it. And then there's the opening for Traders. And then there's House of Villains. There is a track for people you don't want to see, but secretly do want to see.
Right. The problem with West is he won't be funny in on the joke. And Tom Sandoval, he's not in on the joke either, but he's comedic relief. But he doesn't know that, which makes it even funnier. But West is not going to have that.
West is like not someone you laugh at. West is someone you laugh with. Tom Sandoval is someone you laugh
Yes.
at, not someone you laugh with. And so there's a difference there of being this like caricature of yourself. Because even though Sandoval was so concerned about his image, he was doing literally everything wrong. He's like, I'll just go on tour.
Right, right.
I'll just like do all of these things. I'll be like in on it. Do you see Wes being on a Trader's one? Like, nah,
No, 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 no,
no,
no.
because he's so concerned with his image.
Right. However, I think he could complete Special Forces the whole way through. What do you think?
Well, it depends on the ab work. Crank it, baby.
Wow, I'm glad that we just spent 28 minutes on a 28-minute video.
Sure. I'm going to add a little bit more time too, because there were a couple things on that whiteboard they did not mention. So Dara was on the whiteboard. They did not talk Dara. And I thought that would have been good to hear that. But also, if they brought it up and he just said, yeah, I agree with what she said, not as much of a moment. He already did kind of agree with her on the reunion. They also had Italy on there, and we didn't talk much about Italy except the spitting of the olives. And I thought that there should have been maybe a more conversation about, so what did happen with Italy? Was Mija supposed to go first? Did you tell her no? Obviously, when this whole thing came out, did you say you were going by yourself? At what point did you add Amanda as your +1? Those are some unanswered questions that we still don't know. And not that I need to know, but just don't put Italy on the board and circle it and then not put it in the main video. We had 28 minutes. We do 2 more.
Right. Well, and that grandparents thing. Because the day before the reunion, TMZ reported that his cousin shot his step grandmother. And they very, very briefly say that at the end of the first video, and then it kind of just like they scoot over it. I kind of needed to know more about that. They were definitely helping him in some ways, but they were also holding him to the fire. I thought they did a great job.
I mean, it didn't make him more likable to me. I do like that we got the information that we were looking for. Not all of it, but a lot of it. At the end of the day, it's not redeeming for him. It's just more of his side and the fact that he still is image conscious and he's still, I think when I circle what mistakes, I don't think it means that he's sad for what he did, which is still the why, because he said they
Hmm.
really like hanging out. I think he liked the attention that Amanda was giving him, that she was putting him on this pedestal, that he was this white knight. And so when he keeps talking about, oh, well, I just like really enjoy her company, I'm like, do you enjoy her company or her like doting over you?
I think it's the type of situation where he has been put in a corner and he hooked up with her for too long and got caught, and now he has to stay longer.
Hmm.
And eventually he's going to get caught again for something else. So
Yeah. We asked earlier in the week too, are you over it? Are you done with it? And I thought I was, but then I look at this and I think, no, we will never be.
this was more satisfying for me than the aftermath and the reunion.
Yeah, I agree because we got answers. And as we mentioned, it was with his friend. So while they can like rib him and roast him, rightfully so, he also feels comfortable in it. Lindsay's also already replied to this, by the way. And she was like, I told you guys not to include him in this video.
Right. And then he wrote back, like, Lindsay, did you even watch it? Which makes me kind of feel like she might have not.
Well, it's 28 minutes.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah.
it's got over 1.6 million views on the two videos combined on Instagram, less on TikTok because it's probably just more of a 30-minute video, but riveting stuff regardless if you're on his side or not, or if you want to forgive or not. I thought we were given a ton of information here.
Completely agree. And Courtney, thank you so much for bringing your whiteboard. I think this really made this dramatic. And I think we got a lot of questions answered. So I thank you for your service.
Oh, anytime. All right. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.